Hello, people of the internet. It's Amanda, and if you're new here on my channel, I usually talk about Japanese movies, dramas, entertainment. Sometimes I tap into other Asian pop culture topics as well. And I realized that it's been over a year since I made a video talking about the 10 best J-dramas that are currently streaming on Netflix right now. Now, after a year, there's been a surge of new Japanese dramas and movies that are made available on the platform. And when I say new, it's not exactly like just new releases, but older J-dramas that are now being put on streaming platforms. And it's not just on Netflix as well, but you have Prime Video, you have Disney Plus, all these other stuff. But for today's video, we're just going to focus on Netflix first, because over the past year, I've had a bunch of Japanese movies and dramas that I've been watching that I haven't really been sitting down and talking about here on my channel. I have talked about some of them here, which are but very, very handpicked. But I've been watching a lot more than what I've been making content for, which is quite a shame. And I figured that since it's been over a year when that other video was made, then this would be a good opportunity for me to kind of sift through that pending list of dramas that I really want to talk about, but I haven't really talked about, and make it into a creation video as well in terms of recommendations that you can stream on Netflix as of this moment. So it's like hitting two birds with one stone, I would say, and just kind of like my excuse, because yeah, I haven't really been making videos for a while. So this is kind of like me catching up to myself as well. But yeah, so with that said, so let's just get to it. Now, these dramas and movies are in no particular order in terms of preference. I just listed them down in terms of, what I recommend, what I'm recommending. I'm not going to include the ones that I've already made a video for, and also wouldn't really focus on the kind of popular ones like Alice in Borderland, all those other things. I would focus on dramas and movies that I feel like people who want to try watching Japanese dramas and movies on Netflix would want to check out, but are not really the ones that are openly marketed by Netflix because it's an original, or you catch a drift. So basically that. Okay, so with that said, the first one on my list is such a heartwarming family drama. I watched this during Q4 of last year, but because of the holiday season, I wasn't able to sit down and talk about it, even though I really wanted to. And after I realized it, we're already in March. But this wrapped up, I think, around first week of January or at the tail end of December. I'm talking about Light of My Lion, and this is so adorable. This isn't a completely happy drama, I would say. It has its very kind of sad moments that made me cry, or maybe it's because I'm just a crybaby, but there are moments in this drama that really made me cry. It has a little bit of a suspense subplot to it, but it doesn't overwhelm much of the plot anyways. Basically, the story is about these two brothers. They have a very nice, quaint life in this small town. And their life is basically kind of like a routine. But one day, a little boy that they don't know of shows up at their doorstep and kind of changes everything about their lives. And it's such there's really so much about it that really explores family dynamics and also relationships between siblings and just family, non-blood related family, and also just other circumstances that play into very important family dynamics. And it's such a beautiful drama. I didn't spoil much of it, but if you're looking for something that is just really heartwarming, I highly suggest this. I absolutely love this drama, and I feel so bad that I'm only talking about it now, but yeah, I absolutely love it. The next one on my list is recently added on Netflix, and now listen, for me, I don't really judge, or most of the stuff here on my channel, I either judge them based off of their entertainment value or just anything like doesn't really matter as much if they're critically good or bad, I would say, because there are some bad films that still are entertaining. Um, and for Demon City, which stars my first J drama love, Ikutatoma, um, it really depends on what you're looking for. To me, I highly enjoyed it because I saw the trailer. It promised me action, gore, a revenge movie, and I got just that. But if you're looking for a film that has some depth to it, this probably wouldn't be for you because it's just fight scene over fight scene. Like there are moments where they kind of like rest on that, but it just builds up to more fight scenes. And to me, that's entertaining. Like, if you're just looking for something to pass the time for an hour or so, and you're not really that big into plots and you just want something that would excite you and would just deliver on what it showed in the trailer, which is a revenge, bloody type of film, then that's Demon City for you. I think the only downside for me here is I really didn't like that Higashida Masahiro was part of the plot. If you're up with your kind of like J entertainment news, he's very controversial because of his adultery. Uh, and now, like the actress that he cheated with his wife with, she's like no longer getting projects, but he's still very much active in the industry after disappearing for not that long, in my opinion. He's been engaged, like his character here kind of like reflects his relationships in real life because he is like going like he is, I think, with a younger girl again, right? It's just so annoying to have him in this film. So yeah, that's definitely one of like the major downsides of it. But overall, like if we're judging the film as it is, it really depends whether or not you're just looking for something that's entertaining, action packed, all these other things, or if you're looking for something with some depth to it. If it's the latter, then you probably wouldn't enjoy this as much. But yeah, so there's that for that film. Now, third on my list, and speaking of adultery, Hirugal. Now, I don't advocate for adultery at all, but you have to admit that, especially with Asian dramas, there is something about cheating and affair themed dramas that make it so entertaining. And it's probably because it makes your blood boil, but you just couldn't stop watching it. It's very similar to eating something spicy and it hurts your tongue, but you just keep on consuming it. And that's probably what these types of dramas are for us, because, especially in the Asian context, simply because culturally and socially, there's a huge emphasis here for monogamy. And when we kind of like explore this through fiction, it kind of like, I don't know, like just think of the Korean drama, The World of the Married, and what else? Which even got like a Filipino adaptation. And there's just so many other dramas, and Hirugawa is like one of them. Where, and there's also Tokyo Tower, the recent one with Ren. But for this one, again, it's one of those dramas that dive deep into like it has a little bit of like spice to it, but not too much. You kind of like, I don't know, like it really explore, like if you're into that kind of drama. And again, I'm not advocating for like the theme of it, but just generally the entertainment that you get out of these types of genres. If you're into that, then there's Hirugawa for you. Next is Switched. Now, this one is, if you're into supernatural stuff, then you'd probably enjoy this. It is a story of a popular girl and not so popular girl, and they, as the title says, switch. And because of that, like it's kind of like a teen romance, supernatural vibe. um, and yeah, it's pretty much that basically, because one of them has a more darker kind of like personality, and so switching it up and all these other things, it definitely kind of like played into the dynamics as to how they play their characters. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like if you're looking for something like that, then I recommend this one. I generally enjoyed I generally enjoyed it simply because it's just fun. Like trying to think of what's gonna happen to these characters or blah blah. And again, there's some element of romance to it as well, which kind of like, you know, plays into like if you're into that sort of thing of supernatural, but you don't want it to be too much. So there's the romance to kind of like balance it out. But yeah, if you're looking for cooking dramas, which are equally as entertaining. I've been watching Western drama The Bear lately, and I don't know, I'm just there for the food and the drama. Then you might enjoy Firmat's Cuisine or Maison Tokyo. Um, and these both of these are about, you know, chefs, um, both the usual plot, you know, struggling, keeping restaurants up and running. There's some kind of like genius in them, like a genius chef that is struggling with something, blah blah blah. And it's usually centered around this type of, you know, drama and food narrative. And again, if you're into that, overall there's really not a lot of depth into the plot, mostly just exploring characters and their lives and what drives them and draws them to creating masterful food for people. But if that's generally that, and that's why there's such easy they're so easy to watch, is because that's pretty much what the plot is about. And if you're into that, then I recommend those two dramas as well. Now this one is still ongoing as I'm filming this video. The title is Who Saw the Peacock Dance in the Jungle? It stars Hirase Suzu, and oh my gosh, I love him so much, but I completely Matsuyama Kenichi there. Um, and it's about this girl who lost her father in a fire, but then her father leaves her a letter saying that whoever is accused of the fire is not the real culprit, and that she should seek out the help of this lawyer to prove that like whoever is accused as innocent. And that's basically like the plot of the drama so far. They're trying to investigate the truth about why her father died, and also this other case of other things. And it's pretty much that. There are some episodes that are quite slow in my opinion, but it is unraveling, you know, like parts of this story, kind of like the puzzle pieces to this bigger narrative. I've recommended Dearest or Sai in my previous video, curation video, and it's pretty much the same vibe as this one, you know, uncovering this mystery, where all the other pieces or all the characters have something to do with what, and we'll receive a conclusion in the end on what really happened. And it's pretty much the same vibe, probably because this is also produced by P.P.S, which is the producer of Sai, which is pretty much like how they usually format their like family suspense dramas anyways. So yeah, but I highly enjoy it for the most part, because again, it just keeps you want to watch just to know what happens in the end. And usually the payoff, it might not be as explosive or as big, but it is still kind of like, huh, that's cool. Okay, cool. I feel like I didn't waste my time on that. So yeah. Then next one on my list, this one is an oldie but a goodie, Nora Me Cantabile. Again, if you're into kind of like the music genre, not really a musical, but focused on characters that are musically inclined, who are struggling with their craft and have high hopes, high aspirations, a little bit of romance, but also slice of life and comedy, then this is something for you. I feel like if you're not used to the old J drama vibe, like the early 2000s J drama treatment, where some of the comedic aspects are exaggerated or there's a little bit of like an anime-ish tone to the delivery, this is something that you might find initially cringy. But overall, like if you're pretty much used to that, then you would highly enjoy this because again, there is some transition between like the early 2000s up to 2010s types of dramas to the treatment of adaptations now. Before, they pretty much stick to that kind of like humor, which worked. But for now, there's a more realistic touch to even some of the live action adaptations of some animes and mangas. So it really is just different treatments depending on the time. But if you're into like the charm of the older J dramas, then you would definitely enjoy No Dami Cantabile. Um, and then for again, most of these are dramas, but I'm adding the Kingdom movies into the list as well because they're making all of the films available on Netflix. I think 1 to 4 is available now, not to be confused with Kingdom, the Korean zombie drama. This one is the Kingdom starring Yamazaki Kento, Yoshizawa Ryo, and a lot of other people. This movie has an ensemble cast, and it basically starts off with this kid who is a slave, but because of one encounter with a great general, then he dreams to be a great general himself. It is loosely based off of the Chinese history when it comes to the Nine Kingdoms, all these other things. I don't know much about that part of history, but it loosely references that. And this is a Japanese drama, but it is like the setting is ancient China, and that's the reason why they're named as show and why the set is like that, the character designs, all those other things, and also like why kind of like the choreography for the fight styles are very much inspired by wuxia. So yeah, but yeah, it's a pretty interesting film. A lot of like battle strategy, friendship, not so much on romance, I would say, but really more on like camaraderie, battle strategy, and like if you love an enduring hero, then you definitely enjoy this. Last on my list is Jin. Now, Jin is about a modern day doctor who ended up time traveling to um Edo period Japan. And so his knowledge from the future becomes really useful when it comes to, you know, like outdated medical practices that are outdated, not really outdated, but kind of like not like at the time medical practices that are not yet invented. And so, it's kind of like just the usual time travel stuff, putting modern practices into a very historical setting, that thing. This has 2 seasons. Don't expect a lot of like historical accuracy in terms of like, I know, them referencing something in the future or kind of like a trickling down domino effect on how it is in the future. Not none of those things. Suspension of belief, definitely, but it is just an overall very interesting medical drama. Considering that most medical dramas take place in the modern setting, but for this one, it has that kind of like twist to it, and it makes for a very entertaining watch. And it also talks a lot about like political dynamics, social cultural dynamics, other things, especially during that period, and how that is kind of like perceived as someone who comes from the future. So yeah, now, that's my updated list. Obviously, it's not like exhaustive of all the other dramas on Netflix streaming right now. But if you're looking for other recommendations that are currently on there, then I have my other videos for that. You can just sift through my entire playlist of different Japanese dramas and movies that I've reviewed in the past. But so far, I hope that you find something in this list that is of interest to you, that you find entertaining as well. And as usual, let's talk it out down in the comments below. If you've any other things that are streaming right now that you would want me to talk about, or let's chat it through, then let's go ahead and do that. I might do this for like other platforms again in the future, like say Prime Video or Disney Plus, because there are a growing number of Japanese dramas and movies in other streaming platforms as well. So we can explore that in a different video. But for now, that's it. Tell me down in the comments below. Again, let's chat through all these other things that I've said. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one. Bye!